Yo, what's up, guys?
Let's see those bags under your eyes, man.
Oh yeah, it's a busy weekend, but it's been good. Yeah, would rather this than other types. Are you getting background noise, by the way, or are you good?
Yeah, we are getting some background noise.
All right, one second. I'm gonna relocate.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, I was thinking of you, Jacob, this weekend as I was just out here in the trenches on the timeline, being like,
Yeah.
"Wow, there's some energy out here right now," and you kind of were at the center of it, at the absolute center of it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think we started seeing a general uptrend like 2 weeks ago, and we were like, well, this is pretty interesting. Like, what's going on here? And then, yeah, each day it just kind of kept building and building and building. And then suddenly, 4 or 5 days ago, it just crossed some threshold where I think people were signing up to the app. They're really surprised by, for a lot of existing users, they were surprised by how much we've like iterated and improved that general experience in the past 6 months. And there's like great creators, amazing content, and a lot of fun things going on in the app. So I think it just kind of crossed some threshold where it was fun, felt safe to kind of log in and do your thing, and then it just keeps going. So yeah, it's there was one point yesterday where we had to just like outright triple our capacity on the fly. Like it was just going crazy, and we would,
Was that when Jack accidentally launched his coin? No,
that was like it was like 5 or 6 hours after that,
Okay.
surprisingly. But yeah, so yeah, it was a busy weekend. But I mean, after 5 years of iterating and building, I'd take that weekend over anything else.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you got to run with it.
And I'm curious how you're like reflecting on just how long it took people to kind of wake up to what you're building. Like, I was looking back I was kind of talking about it a little bit, like early April. We talked early, like, or mid April in New York when, you kind of laid this vision out, and it felt like everyone just ignored it until suddenly they didn't. So I'm curious, I don't know, what are your reflections on that? Like, is it a communications kind of marketing positioning thing, or just this stuff just takes time to ignite?
I don't know. I haven't had too much time to think about it. I think I've always thought like it'll work when it works. So until it's actually working, you have to keep iterating and experimenting to figure out, what the market wants, what your users love, and all that kind of stuff. And I think once we launched Creator Coins, like we felt like we had the engine. It was just about like building the car around it. And yeah, I think like, I don't know, I guess after just like every single iteration, all the learnings we've had, like we just had so much confidence in this model that we're like, this will probably work. We just have to lower the barrier to entry to get started, and then make sure that we're just getting the fundamentals of the core product experience right, like good discovery, easy trading experience, and all these things where we have like a lot of room to grow still. But it's clearly working on some dimension now. So yeah, but I haven't had too much time to reflect on it because I think like there's still so much to do. And I think, we've had a great couple of weeks, but we've got big ambitions for where we want to try and take it. So we're just like heads down and sorting through like the tidal wave of user feedback and feature requests and issues and bug reports that have come up over the last 3 days, and just making sure we're working through that. And then we've also got some cool like kind of new features in the works too that we're excited to get out into the market. So it's like business as usual, basically. Just keep building. Yeah, but in a very different context now. Yeah.
It was a little different when you opened Twitter.
For sure. Yeah, I'm like, what is happening? But okay, cool, sweet.
Yeah, let's go there, because I've seen, with the increase of intention, you see a lot of new threads, and it seems like I'm curious, like, what are people getting wrong? If you're seeing some of the attention come around some of these narratives, I think one of them was around Zora chain, not, there's no activity on Zora chain, so this is obviously spoofed. Or I think there was somebody out there with a thread talking about, these aren't real users coming on. There's some market makers, but you're just getting the totality of the conspiracy theories around tokens. But
For sure.
Are there some core things that people are getting wrong or misunderstanding about the product right now?
I think that chain one is the most valid. One, I think like I've seen multiple examples of people sharing Dune dashboards from Zora chain being like, oh, it's down only, therefore like, the price is kind of getting ahead of the market. With most people not realizing that we've been entirely based native since the start of the year. So like Zora network, the L2 we did, it still exists and it's running in kind of maintenance mode. But all of our activity is exclusively on base, and Zora is like a base only experience right now. So I've tried to reply to as a lot of those tweets as possible, like as many as I can, and linking to dashboards. And now a lot of those dashboards are actually got disclaimers up top, like pointing to the coins dashboard, and Blockworks has a great one now for everything happening at the protocol level, which is great. But that's probably the biggest confusion. And then the other common one I see too is like people don't realize the how each of the posts are paired with the creator coin, and then how all of the creator coins are paired with Zora. And then there's just like general confusion around like what that even means. But I think I'm noticing people are already coming up that curve. Like we've put out a lot of different tweets and threads, and maybe I'll write like a more detailed essay on that front. But I think that's the simple take I see too, where people are like, oh, it's just another launch pad, and then not realizing that actually there's like quite a lot of fundamentally different things happening at the market level there. So that's the other one. But other than that, and then other people being like, wait, Zora's still alive? Like, what's going on? Is the third take I'll say, which is
we get that a lot.
Cool.
We get that a lot too. Yeah,
yeah,
it's a great opportunity, really, more than anything.
Yeah, exactly. So that's always a fun one. But yeah, it comes with the territory after building so long, I guess.
So it seems like so much of the new speculative attention is really at the like creator coin level, and people kind of speculating on the, like playing the early games, of course, but more speculating on the kind of social credibility or like clout of the person versus the, future value of their posts. Like how much, how do you think, is that like a problem to be solved? Do you think that value kind of flows down to the post level, or do you think that's just fine?
So, it's impossible to know, but I actually think this whole run started 2 or 3 weeks ago at the post level, which was basically like Tiny Soul, who's like a very prominent creator on Twitter, and then Zora had a post go super viral on Twitter and then on Zora, which then drove up the creator coin. And then a bunch of people are like, wait, what's going on here? And then that's what actually, like, I actually think it was that single post, I think, is kind of responsible for the snowball. Watching the leaderboard over the past few days, like I'm seeing it ebb and flow between brand new users sign up, kind of dominating the top 10. And then there is a cohort, I would say, of like power Zora native creators that just keep pushing their way back up because they're just posting so much. They've got a great kind of like community on the platform, and they've been doing this when Zora was like much smaller, and now they're getting a whole bunch more attention. I think they just feel more emboldened, and they continue to pop up into the top 10, the top 50, and the top 100 is actually a lot of our creators who have been doing this for like quite some time. But I would imagine like there'll be, we're seeing some like really notable people starting to sign up to Zora, which is super exciting. And I imagine they'll get a big initial boost. And then I think what we'll see over the coming, weeks and months is like the market probably choosing the people who are posting great stuff and contributing great content to the network, because ultimately that's how the model's designed to work. So if we see really large creators who onboard to the platform and just post super regularly and they're diving in, I'd imagine they'll do quite well. If they just kind of sign up and post once and then dip, then I think the market will wake up to that, and we'll probably adjust accordingly in the future.
So what do you make of this sort of meme coin discussion that's sort of emerged around Zora? I think I jumped in over the weekend and said I think Zora coins are meme coins with just a more impactful mechanism underpinning them. I do have a more nuanced take on meme coins than I think most do out on the market. And I know that you've been building in the space, which I'd say is broadly around the social capital and creative capital that is on the internet that's undervalued in a big way. Is that a fair comment from me, or would you take issue with that?
No, I think I take issue with that. How I think about it, like meme coins are real. Like that's a controversial statement, but I think meme coins are real in some dimension. I I think what we've done, I guess what I've noticed is like if you think of a lot of the largest meme coins over the past year, like a lot of their attention is a function of thousands of posts on social media. So like what's actually going on is like people are remixing and creating memes that point back to a meme coin. And that's a very implicit and blurry and kind of like V0 look at like how these will probably work in the future. And I guess our iteration is just making that much more explicit, which is a creator or a meme are actually made of many posts, some of which those posts can go more viral than the original meme that they were like pointing to. So how is it that you can connect and link these back to a larger thing? So we've started with, well, creators post many things over time. So instead of having all of their posts be PvP and people getting confused, like, is this the creator coin? Is it just one post? You can have both, where it's like you tokenize everything at the post level, then you pair it back with the creator. So then the market has the choice. Do you want to go along the creator, or do you want to just go along this post because you think it's going to be a one-hit wonder or something like that? There's no reason I can see versions of Zora in the future where it's not just creator coins where all of these posts are being paired with, like maybe there are these like viral trends or literal memes or whatever that people are creating posts and pairing with. And we're just seeing this behavior that we've more explicitly play out on chain versus what has been implicitly playing out on, Twitter posts and TikTok trends pointing back to a meme coin. It's actually becoming more explicitly linked with this like pairing model. So it feels like somewhat of a rambling answer to your question, but like that's how
it's a question that requires a rambling answer, I think, still.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, is there any updates to the mechanism that's underpinning this since the increased attention, or are we still running the original?
No, it's like working on some dimension. I think where we're focusing our attention over like the immediate term is just like how can we tweak the initial curve parameters just to one, account for the new Zora price and the changing Zora price more dynamically, and then two, just increasing liquidity at the initial stages of the curve. We had like very, very steep curves as like a sniper protection, but we've got some ideas on how to improve that. And then two, we think we can just improve the liquidity at the lower level so it's not so steep all the time. So we're just like, it's more like iterative tweaks than it is like fundamental iterations we're focusing on right now. It's just like parameter changes that we're kind of digging into. So that's what we're focusing on at the moment.
So I was laying in bed last week, just kind of doing some bed moon math as one does. And I just kind of, I don't know, my head just started spinning when I started thinking about this mechanism applied to like the scale of Instagram or anything like close to it. And I think kind of, obviously who knows what those numbers actually look like, but I think concluded that it would be like many orders of magnitude larger than like what Instagram's worth today. Like, do you agree with that? Or like, I think so.
Biology has this great like heuristic. I can't remember what it was exactly, but it's like crypto. If you can do a crypto native version of a thing, it's going to probably 10x the size of the market just due to like the improvements in market efficiency and value capture. And I do think generally like crypto is disrupting finance, and it's like very deep into that process now, and like it's happening. And I think social media is like up next as the thing that crypto is going to disrupt. So like the largest exchanges in the world are actually ad exchanges. People always think, oh, the NYSE is huge, NASDAQ or whatever, but actually it's the ad exchanges that power these social networks that basically how we monetize attention today. I think are the things being disrupted here. And yeah, they're throwing off, hundreds of billions of dollars a year in revenue across all of these different platforms. So I think like the sky is the limit on that front. What'll be interesting to see though is like how does the nature of content change with this new format? Like the medium will change the things that get produced, and how like I think it's dangerous to kind of reason by analogy. So I don't think it's a one-for-one. I think you can just like take existing thing and multiply it. But I do think like the sum total of all attention flowing through the internet and how that's moving between content creators and all those things, there is an extreme amount of value there. And we want to figure out how to unlock that and channel that using crypto so we can put more of that in the hands of creators and consumers. So yeah, we have that ambition. That's why we've been grinding away at this nonstop for 5 years straight. And I think we see that version of the future. So yeah, that's why we're kind of doing this every day, day in, day out.
Yeah.
So I think it can get that big.
All right, we'll let you go here after this because I know you've got a lot of knobs to turn and levers to pull. I know there's over the last couple of months, there's been a big motion from Zora to reach out to net new creators that are maybe haven't come into the crypto space yet. I'm curious, what is the message that's really landing with them today?
Post get paid is like the simple 3-line or 3-word statement. But yeah, it's like, hey, this is a new social network. Well, interestingly, it's like there's the getting paid part, but we had an offsite, team offsite for the first time ever 2 weeks ago. We invited a bunch of creators who were in LA who have been using Zora. And what was really exciting and promising to hear was like, they just love that they've got a new place they can be like authentically themselves. Like there's kind of a high amount of pressure posting on Instagram. It has to be curated. It has to fit the grid or whatever. And then they're discovering Zora and they're like, oh wait, I can just like post everything all the time, not have to think about it. And it feels much more freeing. So I think there's 2 parts. Like a lot of our messaging is around, it's a social network. It's ad free. It's free to use, and you can get paid to post when you create things that are valuable, and that really hits. And then there's like a second thread that we're learning to tap into a little bit more, which is just like, here's a new social network that you can just be like your best self and like share whatever creative things you're working on, and you don't have to worry about an algorithm that's going to rate limit you. You can just post anything you want at any time, and that's like pretty exciting. That's like a thing that we can tap into, but it's a little bit earlier. A good way to like get a sense of how we're thinking about it is like just check out Zora's profile on Instagram and compare that to Twitter. It's like 2 very different channels, 2 very different styles of messaging and positioning. And same thing on TikTok too, which we're spending a lot of time on. So I wouldn't say we've completely cracked that code yet, but we've got really promising signs that are that it's like working. Like that was partly the reason, like 3 weeks ago, we got into like the top 100 of the App Store. We actually got into the top 100 again over the weekend, but that was largely from crypto, from what we can tell. But yeah, the getting paid side is the first part, and then the second part is like, yeah, this is just like a new place that's interesting and creative and fun.
Awesome, man. Well, we appreciate you hopping on last minute, and I know you look really good for the weekend that I expect you had. So
yeah, number go up is like a motivating thing. So you can work very hard for a very long time when you've got raw adoption, and you can see all the metrics you've been working so hard to get up, like just moving in the right direction. So yeah, we're energized, we're running with it, and then yeah, just business as usual, just keep building.
Awesome, brother. We'll let you get back to it. Thanks so much.
Cool. Thanks for having me on. See ya.
Peace, man.